live streams in. That might be a relief to some people. Be a bit of a relief to some people. I've been so busy in this new role as team leader, and it's so many more hours, because not only is it more hours because I have to show up earlier, I have to leave later, but also it's in LA, and so I have a lot of drive time, right? I get home really late. I have to leave really early. And Saturdays we even have like an earlier start time, so at least I'll be done sooner, but the Saturday evening traffic is usually pretty bad. So it's a longer drive home when we wrap on up on Saturdays. But things are going well. Our team are really becoming like solid performers. They're pulling in some pretty big numbers. There are almost all of them are hitting the goal every day. Once in a while, we encounter some turf that's a little more difficult, a little trickier to get into, but they're all getting better at this. They're all getting more clever about how they get into buildings, um, so that we can get the signatures that we need for this measure. And it's going really well. I'm impressed by all of them. They're doing such a good job. Um, we're gonna be doing this for a long time. LA's a big city, y'all. It's the second largest city in the country. So it takes a lot of signatures to get something on the ballot. But we're working on it. We're going to get it done. And I think, we go through our highs and lows of what type of work we're doing in a really measured and humble way. So when somebody has a rough day, I think that most of them recover pretty quickly from it because we do tend to try and be as supportive as possible and offer them suggestions and offer them supports. We value everybody who's walking for us because a lot of the people who are walking for us come from the hotel industry and they're either on strike or have been laid off, or they're just looking for some extra cash on their day off, right? Their time off, right? So it's a wonderful opportunity to help these union members get through downtimes when they're not earning as much income. So I'm exceptionally proud to be a part of this. My boss Juan told me he really likes it when I drop my name, when I drop his name, on my live streams. He feels pretty special about that. So shout out Juan. He's a cool boss. He's a very cool boss. Um, yeah, I think we're doing really well. I didn't actually get any walk time today because there was so much support that needed to happen today. And the turf that was assigned to me, there was no parking whatsoever. It was only like one street. I imagine there was very few actual houses or buildings on the turf that I was assigned. So I'm guessing there must have been like a lot of units within those buildings, but I tried to find parking like 3 or 4 times today to actually like knock on doors myself. And I couldn't find the parking. And while I wasn't able to find the parking and I'm driving around, I kept getting calls from the team for various support things that they needed. Um, Everybody did well. And so I'm sure we're going to have a very successful Saturday too. Uh, in other news, I can't pay attention to social media as much because I'm so preoccupied with my actual, job. But I did get some various notifications about conversations that are happening right now. So one of the conversations I got tagged in quite a while ago, I want to say it was like in winter of last year, 2020. I got virtually introduced to some of the petitioners who had left, or I think they actually were forcibly put out of the Movement for the People's Party. And it was because they had written a petition to Nick Brana to ask him to make changes to the organization because he's not running. So there's been a few developments here. Okay. So first of all, it's a fundraising grift. I mean, like anybody who's been watching this for a long time, which I have, because he tried to get the ball rolling on that in 2016. It first started as Draft Bernie, and then it became the People's Party like a year later, right? And it was slow going. And all of these volunteers who were serious about doing this are now realizing over the last year, they're realizing what we already knew, those of us who've been organizing for a long time and have been watching this go down. They're realizing that it is a fundraising grift, and that he's put out so much dumb stuff. Like, for instance, he's put out statements that they're basically centrists, that they're playing to the middle, which is why you see all of these offshoots that are surrogates for him, like Jimmy Dore, like Jackson Hinkle. All of these people are trying to court Republicans and libertarians, like conservative libertarians at this point, because that's part of Nick's strategy, is that it's a centrist organization. The other thing is that, he was building this under the guise that they would be different from the Democratic Party, yet he has a very similar structure to having super delegates. It's a very similar structure. So I got tagged on Twitter in an update that 4 state parties that had formerly been under the Movement for the People's Party National have all left. They are all operating independently of that, and they are coalescing together to build up their own national structure at this point that is minus Nick Brana. And what's interesting about this conversation that I got tagged in is that apparently he never copyrighted the name. He probably never had a right to, because somebody else in California was using the name all the way back to 2013. So he can't even claim precedence on this at this point. And so this is going wild. This whole thing is going wild at this point. Nobody's going to be able to really effectively copyright this name. Y'all should come up with a completely different name at this point. But their efforts are actually in earnest, right? They're actually trying to build a third party. I don't know why. I don't know why y'all just didn't try and take over the Libertarian Party. The structure's already there. You could totally flood that party and like take it over. But they want something fresh, I guess. They want to build something fresh. The other thing is that was brought to my attention today through one of my chat groups that I'm a part of, is that the Combo Couch got banned from YouTube again for spreading misinformation about the vaccines. Not surprising. Ultimately, I think they'll get perma banned, right? They'll be just cut because they keep doing this bullshit and they're like, oh, well, we're covering real events. We're journalists. Oh, really? You're a journalist. Did you get a degree in journalism? Did you actually get a degree in journalism? I don't think you did, right? Like you got a degree in like English, right? You were an English major? I think that's actually what happened, right? I still want to see your GPA, by the way. See what your GPA was. So, they're not journalists. They're not real journalists. If they were real journalists, they wouldn't be doing the kind of reporting that they're doing. They're video bloggers. I'm a video blogger. I've never called myself a journalist. I didn't go to school for journalism. I went to school for business management. I write op-eds based on my opinions too, but at least I'm straightforward about it. At least I'm honest about it, and I don't like try and pass off vaccine misinformation or lie about people or throw out smear campaigns. I give you my honest, real takes on the things that I've observed. I try not to make too many assumptions, and if I am making an assumption, I try and state that, look, this is my assumption. But it's a pretty good educated guess based on my intelligence of what's happened in politics since 2016. Okay, so they're banned again. I'm wondering how long it's going to take before my former project partner gets banned again, too. Because he created, like, a new Twitter account or some such bullshit. I had to go block it because, like, I know that he uses these accounts to spy on me anyway, right? He doesn't need to. He can watch my YouTubes anytime he wants. He can watch my YouTube videos anytime he wants. But he does like to spy on my other accounts. He does. So apparently he's got a new account out there and he's doing the same bullshit. He's still trying to court the crowd that's absolutely terrified of vaccines. And just throw throw logs on that fire, gas on the fire. That's the expression, right? Okay, whatever you do, you. Quality of your fan base is not going to be very good. I'm still trying to find an opportunity to do the meet and greet with the new congressional rep candidate in my district. That's a lofty goal. It's an 11 plus Republican district now. So if somebody really wants to go for it, hats off to you. That's pretty cool. I do want to meet him, even if it's like virtually over Zoom or something. I've just been too busy. I've been too busy. And, but I want to know, like, who's actually, going to try and represent us in this district, because unseating young Kim is going to be a real challenge. But if you can do it, I'd like to know more about your platform and whether or not we can actually get that done, because that would be pretty cool if we could. And the Republicans are going to throw so much money at that race because it's the only seat in the county that they would consider a safe Republican seat. It's the only one. So they're going to protect it tooth and nail, because we are where all of the GOP comes to fundraise. That's why Matt Gaetz was here. That's why Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's why Trump took himself off of the campaign trail mere weeks before the election to do a fundraiser in Newport Beach on top of my state Padaka call, covering the topic that he was probably going to stage a coup. It was scheduled on top of my call. The Orange County GOP knows who I am. I'm sure the timing was on purpose. But what a knucklehead thing to do. You're running for president and you go off. You're not in the swing states. You're not in the fucking swing states in the weeks leading up to the election. Oh my God. That's hilarious, dude. Wow, sucks he lost. Not really, though, right? Not really, though. Okay. So, I'm just going to keep plugging away. And I don't really get to dive into social media like I used to find out like what's happening. But I still get phone calls all the time. Oftentimes people call me while I'm working, though, and I just can't take the calls. I try and get back to everybody, but I'm just, I can't pick up the phone if I'm knocking on doors. I can barely pick up the phone for my own team if I'm knocking on a door. I have to wait until I'm away from the door and then try and call them back, and then they might be at a fucking door, right? They might be at a door, so maybe they can't pick up in that moment. But I think we're doing really well. So Tomorrow is another day. Oh, I posted a great picture on Instagram. I'll put this on Twitter too, if I haven't already. I put it on Instagram and Facebook. Another dragon sculpture. I saw one in Laguna Beach, and I saw one on turf today too, up in Hollywood. It was pretty cool. And while I was driving around supporting everybody, I got to listen to DJ Shaman too, because he was doing his Twitch party. So I got to have him rolling in the car with me, listening to his tunes. Okay, I have to go to bed because we have an early day tomorrow.